Cześć i dzień dobry.
Cześć i dzień dobry.
Dobrze, bardzo dobrze. Nazywam się Erik Raj. Jestem logopedo i profesor z Monmouth University w New Jersey, USA, blisko Filadelfii i Nowego Jorku. Jej imię to Emma Rizzuto i ona jest moje student. Mój angielski jest bardzo dobry. Teraz będę mówić po angielsku, ale kiedyś będę mówić po polsku. To jest prawda. To wiem. Dziękuję. Hello, my name is Erika Raja, and I am so happy to be joined by my student, Emmy Rizzuto, and we are going to be going over this great presentation for you that we have titled Connecting the Dots, How Past Experiences Build Solid Speech-Language Pathology Foundations.
We all have a story, and that story is so important. And you, especially you have a story, and your story is so important. So now, for a few moments, start to think about your past and your story.
Let's close our eyes and let's try to really think about ourselves. Let's see ourselves in the past. This is going to be a great opportunity for you to remember some new things. And in remembering those new things, you're going to have more insight into who you are as a future speech-language pathologist. When we think about our past experiences, we think it really helps us to be able to connect the dots. And when we can connect the dots, we are able to learn so many things about who we are, about who we were, and perhaps who we can become. Right now, we are going to start to really dig into the past.
Everything from your past has prepared you for your future as a speech-language pathologist. Dr. Raj and I are so happy to know that there are so many students in the audience. And me personally, being a student, I have really learned so much about myself when I took the time to think back to my own experiences and how they have set me up for success in my future. So, what we are going to do today is attempt to connect our own dots so that Dr. Raj and I can think about our own pasts. And maybe this might help you to connect your own dots and think about your own past. The main reason why I became so interested in the field of speech-language pathology is one that you might not expect. Believe it or not, I myself am a person who stutters. You probably would never be able to tell that I have a stutter just based on the way that I'm speaking to you now. But this is all thanks to my personal experiences in speech therapy. I would not be where I am right now or the person that I am today if it was not for my speech therapist during my childhood. Her patience and guidance helped shape me into the person I am today. During my childhood, my stutter was one of the most defining and important parts of my personality. I have always loved school, specifically reading, but having a stutter changed the way I acted in school and in class. When my teacher would ask us questions or asked if anyone wanted to read out loud, I never ever raised my hand, even though I always really, really wanted to. I was too scared that if I would try to speak, the words would get stuck. I was so afraid of my stutter and how my classmates or my teachers might react to it that I let this fear completely take over. I would stop myself from talking to new people or trying to make friends with my peers because I was so afraid of stuttering and having to see how they would react to it. Around the time the first picture was taken, I started going to speech therapy sessions during school. I was very nervous about going at first. I didn't understand why none of my friends had to go and why I was the only one. I even tried to convince my parents to let me get out of it. But once I started going, my life began to improve and my personality truly began to change. With the support of my speech therapist and my weekly sessions, I became more comfortable with myself and with my stutter. She taught me that just because I had a stutter did not mean that I was any less capable or deserving than anyone else. I deserved the same chances to speak my mind as all of my other classmates, even if it took me a little longer to do so. My speech therapist was one of the first people who listened and waited for me. I never felt the need to be on edge or to be scared to speak around her. The power of this was truly immeasurable. I attended speech therapy for many years until finally I reached a point where I did not need it anymore. That was around the time of this middle picture. As the years went on and I became more accepting of my stutter, my personality began to change a lot. I became more comfortable speaking up and raising my hand, as well as making new friends and approaching my peers. When I was 10 years old, I moved towns, and this also meant I moved schools, which was very scary at first. I was terrified to introduce myself to new kids and new teachers and have to explain to them that I was a person who stutters. However, by then I had been through several years of speech therapy, and I was beginning to grow more comfortable and okay with my stutter. It was very hard to get over the emotional challenge of meeting new people at first, but once I started doing it and started breaking out of my shell, I became much more okay with it. In my new school, I made a lot of new friends and excelled in my classes, all because I was less scared of speaking up and using my voice. I would have never made this progress or turned into this person without my experience in speech therapy. Today, I am 19 years old. I know the power and the importance of using my voice, and I am no longer afraid to speak my mind, which is thanks to my wonderful experiences in speech therapy and with my speech language pathologists. I truly don't know where I would be without these experiences, and in some ways, I am glad that I'm a person who stutters. It's a part of me that I can't change, and I've learned to accept that and embrace it instead of letting it make me scared.
So, do you see yourself in Emma at all? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. We all have different experiences, and we all have different ways in which we have grown and different ways in which we have evolved. So now I'm going to share with you some of my past experiences in hopes that I can connect the dots in a very meaningful way, just like how Emma just did. As a child, I absolutely loved music, so much so that I started playing the bass guitar at a very young age. When I first started playing music, it wasn't the best. Sometimes people would close their ears, but the important thing is I was doing what brought me joy. When you play music, you are communicating to the world in a very real way. And that was something that I noticed very early on. We as humans, we all have such important things that we might want to say from time to time. We might want to share our thoughts, our feelings, our ideas, our dreams. And perhaps sometimes if a person has a communication challenge, they might choose to stay quiet when they really want to say something. And we heard some of that in Emma's wonderful connecting of the dots. As I got a little bit older, I started to take music a little bit more seriously. And in that middle picture, when I was 13 years old, that was one of the first concerts that I got a chance to play in front of lots of people. I was very fearful. I was scared. What if I messed up on stage? What if I forgot the song? Sometimes that fear might hold people back. But luckily, I had such caring and supportive bandmates, and they helped me to stand up on that stage and play my music. And I remember that moment very clearly in my mind, because that was the moment that I said, I'm going to communicate with the world through my music. So in that moment, the audience heard exactly what I wanted to say. And I think there's so much connection to the world of speech language pathology in that story, because I'm communicating through music and I'm making the choice to do exactly what I want to do. So as I got older and I truly started to understand what speech language pathology was, I believe that my time as a musician gave me the best foundation in order to listen to people and in order to really hear the music in everyone's voice. I believe that all of us contain such a great song, and I believe that all of us have such a wonderful instrument, and that wonderful instrument is our wonderful voice.
So, do you see yourself in Dr. Raj at all? Maybe yes, or maybe no. What about you? What things in your past have given you a solid foundation? Whether that be your experience with a communication disorder like me, or with music, or with anything else that you might be interested in. Any interest and any experience you have is important and will help you in your future. Knowing where we are right now helps us to imagine where we are going in the future.
So this is who Emma and I are right now. We are so excited. We get the chance to connect with you, this wonderful audience of future speech language pathologists in the great country of Poland. Emma and I are very curious as well. We are actively thinking about 21st technology in all of our projects, and we are thinking about the ways in which we could use digital therapy materials in a manner that excites our clients. Emma and I are also very dedicated. Some of the work that we do is difficult. Some of the work that we do is confusing, but we show up every single day in order to learn a little bit more, because the more we learn, the better we can become as clinicians. And lastly, Emma and I are very creative, because in addition to exploring other people's digital technology, we are also creating our own digital technology in order to see, can our ideas be useful in the therapeutic work that we do with our clients. So what about you? Right now, at this moment in time, who are you? What are you doing exactly? And are you doing what you want to be doing? I have a feeling that you are. And if you are, I'm clapping for you. I'm absolutely clapping for you.
You truly never know where just one email will bring you. You never know what you could accomplish by just putting yourself out there. Be confident and never be too afraid to reach out and advocate for yourself. There are so many different opportunities out there if you just ask about them. For example, I still remember the day I randomly sent Dr. Raj an email, and that one singular email turned into a meeting, and that one meeting turned into so many different and great meetings. And now, here we both are, 2 years later, and we're working together on so many cool research projects. So I challenge you to send an email today. Maybe it's to a professor whose work you find interesting, or to a speech language pathologist who you might want to collaborate with in the future. You truly will never know until you try.
Emma and I thank you so much for your time. It has been a joy connecting with you, and we wish you all the luck as you continue your great studies. We will say goodbye to our wonderful friends in Poland. We could say papa, say that,
Papa.
Emma. And we could say do widzenia. Try that,
Do
Emma.
widzenia.
Emma, do you think your stuttering has had a big impact on your perception of a SLT job, profession? Do you notice any downsides to the situation? How do you feel about it after 2 years of researching with Dr. Rai? Wow, congratulations, you both.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for this opportunity today. Yes, I do think that my stuttering has had a big impact on my perception of this profession. It's the reason why I want to become a speech pathologist. I would not be talking to you today without my experience and my own speech therapist when I was a child. At first, I was very nervous because I didn't know if I could be successful in the field with a stutter, but I learned through my amazing professors and through my other students that I could do whatever I put my mind to, and it shouldn't be something that holds me back. I'm okay with my stutter, and it's something that I live with, and I want to use my own experience and my own challenges to help people in the future. And after 2 years of researching with Dr. Raj, I've become even more comfortable and more confident, and it's making me really excited for my future in the profession.